Hi everyone, Jamie Madison here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's card is going to be using the Simon Says Stamp September monthly kit. Yes, I know the third card from this card kit, but this card kit was different. We got so much to choose from in this card kit. You had the stamp set, you had the stencils, you had the embossing folder, and then you also got that hello die, as well as those little cutouts as well. So I was like, I have not really done anything much with stencils, so let's go ahead and make a card using the stencil. So I went ahead and grabbed the stencils, and I grabbed the 3 of the 4 stencils because I didn't need that last one for what I wanted to do with this card. And then I grabbed some black cardstock. This is from the Cardstock Warehouse. This is in Slate 100 pound. I grabbed my anti-static powder, and then I just used that little brush that came in this kit to just, move that powder around and clear off the excess. That tool worked great for that. That is going to be my new powder tool going forward. And then grab some Post-it tape. I got this tape off of Amazon. I will link it down below. It works really well for holding stuff. It's not super tacky, but it's not to the point where it's going to rip your cardstock either. I really, really like this tape, and it was super cheap. That's a big thing for me. Is if I'm going to be using a lot of it, I don't want it to be costing a whole bunch of money. And then I went in with my my little foam blender from Tim Holtz, and or Ranger, I believe it is Ranger. And I just used a clean foam pad, and I used my Versamark and just tapped that and then rubbed it in, and it just did perfectly what I wanted. Used some gold embossing powder, heat set that, and then I went in for the leaves and the stems. I just marked off the ones that I didn't want to use. Like I said, we're only using 2 of the flowers. I didn't want that third one. And then I just dabbed and then rubbed the Versamark on for the stems. Be a little careful when you're doing the stems because they are so thin. You don't want to get that Versamark squished underneath the stencil and mess up your card. So just take your time with it. I did speed this video up, so you can't really see how slow I'm going, but it was quite slow. I went ahead and used my Hero Arts embossing powder. This is like a Christmas embossing powder that I got in their card kit a few years ago. It's like green with gold specks in it, and I thought the gold specks would just really tie well into the flower petals. And the only thing that I wasn't sure about was the tops of the flowers, what I was going to use for, the bud. And I decided to use black. I kind of went back and forth between white and silver. I'm like, should I do something, with one of those or a different color completely? But all in all, I was like, you know what? This is already kind of a vintage looking card. Let's just use black. And I was very happy with that decision. You could just stop right here after heat setting these tops of these flowers. You don't have to go any further. I always have to take it at least 10 steps further because I don't know when to stop. If I see anything that's like, oh, a white spot, I have to fill that in. And so I always have a battle within myself when to stop. And this is the part I probably should have stopped and not went further, but I never listened to myself, so I did it anyways. And I'm actually really happy that I did because it made it even more vintage, and it just made me just kind of think on the fly of, okay, I went a little too far. How do I bring this back down? Because it was so bright. I put so much gold on this panel. It was overload of gold. Some people might really like that. I thought it was just way too goldy. Like it was just really, really gold. So I'm like, okay, how do I dial that down? So I went ahead and grabbed my Versamark again and went around all the edges. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to tone it down with some black. And that's going to make it vintage looking. It's almost going to look like, ink smearing kind of in a way. And I'm super happy with the way it turned out. So I'm just going to finish heat setting this black, and then I'm going to start working on the sentiment. For the sentiment, I went ahead and went with the stamp Believe in Yourself. And then at the very bottom, it says, and you can do anything. I thought it was perfect. We've had Believe in Yourself on the last card as well. So it just kind of all ties in the whole September card series that we did with this card kit. I will say, while I have you here, we're going to be doing a giveaway in October. I'm so excited. It's going to be a Halloween theme giveaway. It's going to a stamp set with the coordinating die from Picket Fence Studio. So be sure to be subscribed and watch for that giveaway. It's going to be not in my next card video, I don't think, but it could be in that one or the next one. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I will go ahead and get back to this card here. We're going to go ahead and use our double-sided adhesive tape. We're going to tape down all the four corners like I normally do and just kind of peel up the edges. This is like the best way to use this tape because it is so strong. Once you adhere it to your background, it's not coming up. So this gives you kind of like time to position it and then, you know, push down and you're good to go. You just kind of pull the release tape and she's set in place. So if you struggle with putting your backgrounds together like I do and always make them crooked, this is a great way to prevent that. And every time I end up putting a background on and it's crooked, I'm like, why did I not use the release tape like I always talk about? So do as I do, not as I say, or say as I do, not as I do. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and use our foam tape and pop up this sentiment. This is that believe in yourself and you can do anything. And then I'm going to follow up with some sequins because a card would not be complete without me adding so much stuff to it. So I used the treasure chest sequins. They're a kind of a darker gold, but it matched perfect with the gold embossing powder. And I used my Barely Art, I believe is what it's called, glue. I got this glue off of Amazon as well, and it does amazing. I love it. It has a nice small tip. My biggest problem is I always forget to put the cap on. But that is everything, guys. This is my card. That's the inside of it. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you guys next week with our Halloween card. You guys have a safe and wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.